an Ivy League graduate, a hidden manifesto, a 3D printed gun, and a crime that divided an entire nation. Today, the evidence a judge just allowed that changes everything. A CEO shot in the back in broad daylight outside one of the most surveilled hotels in Manhattan. The shooter left a message on the shell casings. He walked away, and for 5 days not one law enforcement agency in the country could find him. Before this is over, you will read the exact words Luigi Mangione wrote himself. In the document, his lawyers spent months fighting to keep out of a federal courtroom. And that a judge just ruled, a jury will hear every single word of it. December 4th, 2024. Midtown Manhattan, 6:44 in the morning. Outside the New York Hilton, United Healthcare's annual investor conference is beginning. Executives, analysts, shareholders, the business of American healthcare. Brian Thompson, 50 years old, CEO of United Healthcare, is walking toward the entrance. He has a security detail. It has not yet arrived. A man in a gray hoodie approaches from behind. He raises a suppressed pistol. He fires. Thompson is struck twice. He runs. He collapses 20 feet from where the shots were fired. He is pronounced dead at New York Presbyterian Hospital at 7:03 a.m. The shooter walks away calmly and disappears into the city. 3 shell casings were recovered at the scene. On each one, a single word: deny, defend, depose. These are not random words. They are drawn from the insurance industry's own documented playbook, a framework named by legal scholars: delay, deny, defend, used to reject claims, exhaust policyholders, and protect profit margins. The shooter did not just kill a man. He selected a specific target, he brought a specific weapon, and he wrote a specific message. When investigators searched his belongings after his arrest, they found a handwritten document. In it, he wrote, "The U.S. has the most expensive healthcare in the world, yet we have the worst outcomes. Obviously, the problem is not the treatment, it's the ransoming of care." He described what he did as an assassination. He used that word on purpose. For 5 days, Luigi Mangione was gone. NYPD released surveillance footage. A man with light eyes, a backpack, a water bottle, a partial face covering. The footage played on every screen on Earth. And still, nothing. He had checked into a Manhattan hostel under a false name, Mark Rossini, a forged Maryland driver's license, cash, time, 5 days after the killing, December 9th, 2024. A McDonald's employee in Altoona, Pennsylvania, recognized a customer from the circulating images. Staff called police. Officers arrived. Luigi Mangione was arrested without resistance. He had the ghost gun on him. Fake ID, protein bars, a laptop, $10,000 in cash, and in his bag, a biography of Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber and the manifesto. He did not explain himself to police. He didn't need to. The document in his bag already had. The name surprised everyone. Luigi Mangione, 26 years old. Thompson, Maryland. His family is prominent. His grandmother, Rosa Mangione, was one of the most successful real estate developers in the state. Deep civic influence. A Catholic household. The kind of family that produces local legends. He attended the Gilman School, one of the most selective private preparatory schools in Baltimore. In 2020, he graduated from the University of Pennsylvania. Summa cum laude, dual degree in computer science, one of the top graduates in his class. He traveled. He wrote about health and consciousness. Friends described him as brilliant, curious, generous. Then, something shifted. He developed a degenerative spinal condition, underwent lumbar fusion surgery, became increasingly fixated on what he called the indifference of the medical system to the people it was supposed to serve. He spent time at a remote surfing commune in Hawaii. He cut contact with family. He stopped posting. He started reading. Nobody who knew him saw this coming. Or if they did, nobody said so. The weapon recovered from Luigi Mangione is what law enforcement calls a ghost gun. No serial number, no manufacturer, no chain of custody, no registration. He built it himself. Components sourced legally, assembled privately, untraceable by design. He built the suppressor, too. Investigators described the firearm as functional, sophisticated, and purpose-built, made by someone who understood precisely what they were constructing and why. This was not a weapon acquired in desperation. This was a project. When Luigi Mangione was arrested, the country did not respond the way the authorities expected. Social media erupted, not only in outrage, in sympathy. Millions wrote about denied insurance claims, about watching parents die because coverage was refused, about fighting for months to receive care they had already paid for. Accounts were suspended for glorifying the shooting. Petitions appeared to drop the charges. A significant number of Americans read his manifesto and did not entirely disagree. Prosecutors called it murder. Premeditated, deliberate, inexcusable. His defenders called it something else entirely. That divide is real. It has not closed, and it will be on full display when this case goes to trial. Luigi Nicholas Mangione does not face one trial, he faces two. In New York, the pillar is state, a first-degree murder indictment. At the federal level, the battle looked even darker. The Department of Justice pressed aggressively for the death penalty, but that strategy hit a wall. A federal judge dismissed the key charges and ruled the death penalty off the table. Mangione no longer faces execution, but the abyss remains the same. If convicted in either court, he will spend the rest of his life in a maximum security prison. With his life on the line, the defense attempted to gut the prosecution's case by blocking access to the heart of the evidence. The backpack he carried the day of his arrest, a fierce legal fight over a ghost gun, and a handwritten notebook. That legal battle just ended. Mangione's attorneys played their strongest card, suppress the notebook. Their argument: it is an incendiary document, so prejudicial it would destroy any jury's neutrality. The text doesn't prove murder, it exposes ideology. And ideology, no matter how radical, is not a crime. The Manhattan Criminal Court has issued its ruling. The defense won a partial victory. Some evidence seized in the initial search was excluded. But on the most critical point, the prosecution prevailed. The ghost gun and the diary are admissible. Real jurors will read aloud the pages where he recorded his desire to take down a healthcare executive. The document is not the chaotic outburst many expected. It is structured, cited, argued. It analyzes corporate profit margins, insurance industry data, published research. In its pages, he wrote that it had to be done, that the people running these systems had brought it upon themselves. For the prosecution, irrefutable proof of cold, calculated premeditation. For his defender, the testimony of a brilliant man who collapsed under the indifference of a system designed to break people. Two opposing narratives, a divided nation. And the answers will start to be found. In a courtroom, beginning September 8th, Brian Thompson was 50 years old. He had a wife, 2 sons, a career built over decades. He was walking to a business conference on a Tuesday morning. He was not personally responsible for every claim denial his company ever issued. He was a man who went to work and never came home. That is also true, but so is this. Millions of people read what Luigi Mangione wrote and recognized something in it, not as a call to violence, but rather as the description of a real experience. A system that says no, that delays, that denies, that sends people to die waiting for approval. No verdict will resolve that. The trial will determine what happens to Luigi Mangione, but it will not answer the question he left written in his manifesto, the one an entire nation is still sitting with. What do you do when the system designed to protect you becomes the thing that's hurting you? Luigi Mangione thought he knew the answer. The rest of us are still deciding.